So private security forces got into it. But it's further. A lot of those investigations require high caliber professionals, accountant, IT people, lawyers, etc., that the police has difficult recruiting because of limited budget.
It's so good, the story goes, it represents a security threat. Steve Hand tells us what began as a key selling point has morphed into the company's Achilles heel.
I'm Dave Davies in for Terry Gross. Unsolved murders that have stumped police across the country sometimes end up before Philadelphia's VDOC Society. It's a group of detectives and forensic specialists who meet for lunch and bring fresh insights to cold cases.
From NPR News in Washington, I'm Jack Speer. A judge in California has ruled the state's ban on gay marriage can end next week, pending the appeal of his earlier decision overturning a voter-approved ban on same-sex marriage.
I know it's probably difficult to generalize, but what would you say is the general reaction of the gay and lesbian community here in San Francisco about, yesterday's decision?
The general reaction, or the reaction from many couples who are wanting to get married and to really be able to be afforded the dignity that comes with marriage, is that they are very excited that Judge Walker's decision around the stay of, was lifted. Now, in terms of the timing, equality delayed even for one day is a disappointment, but we cannot lose sight of the historic nature of his ultimate ruling in this quest for fairness and opportunity for all, which is really what his ruling fundamentally states.
Well, if you have the opportunity to come in the spring or the fall, I'd recommend that. And if you're going to a warmer, traditional American city, this summer would be the hottest time. But in San Francisco, we tend to get a lot of fog during the summer. So if you're going to come during the summer, we welcome you, but bring many layers so to survive. And I strongly recommend the spring and the fall. Well, I'd say that I'm not from San Francisco, I'm from Los Angeles. But I have to say, San Francisco is a much, much more beautiful town. You can walk across the town, the neighborhoods are distinctive, there's not a lot of chain stores. It's much closer to what Europeans would consider a normal city than what Americans would consider to be a normal city. So the variety of people here from different nationalities, different foods, different restaurants, different types of architecture is great. And the bridge connects that both physically and kind of spiritually to a very different spot across.
So the Castro neighborhood is a historic neighborhood where members of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender community have come together to celebrate who they are, to live in the neighborhood, or to come in to find connection. And it's in the it's technically called the Castro neighborhood of San Francisco. It's on the corners of 18th and Market. Is the primary corners, but it's a wonderful place to find gay, lesbian, and bisexual and transgender owned businesses, to get a bite to eat, to really have a fun time, to come to the community center here and to connect with the many different opportunities, cultural events that San Francisco has to offer.
Well, the bridge, before the bridge, traffic north and south of the Golden Gate, and this was called the Golden Gate long before the bridge was here, was ferried across. And that included all the commercial activity, all the personal commuting, and that sort of thing. One of the most interesting things about the bridge, beyond the fact that it was built during the Works Progress administration, during that kind of grand public building spree the United States went through in the 1930s and 40s, is that the original plans for the bridge called for the destruction of these old Fort Point down below. And the designer of the bridge, Joseph Strauss, visited the fort and was so impressed by the masonry, by the brickwork, that he decided to redesign the bridge in order to save the fort. And so thousands of visitors see the bridge every day, but very few actually see it from down there. And I recommend it as something that most visitors wouldn't see. But for me, the most interesting thing is that it connects one of the most densely populated cities in the world with complete open space, which you would see on a clearer day. But on any great day, you have this incredibly tightly packed city, and it's unusual for America to have houses right next to each other with no yards on the sides, but it's all packed here, and then it's completely open space over there. The national park, the Golden Gate National Parks, has more than 15 million visitors every year. It's one of the most heavily visited parks in the country, more than Yosemite or Yellowstone combined. And that's partially because we are in an urban area and there's easy access, and it's partially because it's just beautiful.